The training to stop the Saiyans continues. While Shenron and Piccolo are busy preparing Gohan for the invasion, Goku is training with King Kai in the other world, whilst Kami offers special training to the remaining Dragon Team members. During one of those days of training, Shen Lang decided to check on Chi-Chi and the Ox King to see how they were feeling with the situation. Sadly, Chi-Chi isn't too happy to see him. In fact, she's livid. How dare you show up here after my husband's death? After allowing that monster to take away my son? Get away from here! You're no longer welcome in this house, dragon!
Chi-Chi, listen. I'm only doing this to keep Gohan safe.
Sure you are. Right about now, perhaps. Leaving him alone with Piccolo? Are you insane? Shenron took a deep and very calm sigh, not raising his voice.
I am sorry. I truly am. I have kept the Dragon Ball safe so we can revive Goku more easily whenever we want. We are also preparing Gohan so he can—
He's 4 years old!
Chi-Chi, he is also half human. This training is meant to keep him safe. Those Saiyans may target him specifically. From what I know, they are an endangered species. You remember that oaf Raditz? What if they want to indoctrinate him? We can't let that happen.
She said nothing for a while. Maybe he had a point, the dragon, but she wasn't willing to admit some sort of defeat.
I am sorry, I truly am. But he was one of 2 beings even capable of hurting Raditz. That's the truth. And those 2 that are approaching, they will be even stronger. We cannot rely solely on Goku. Deep down, you know that.
I want to see him.
Well, Piccolo won't be happy about that.
Do you honestly care more about his state of mind than you care about mine? For the widow who just wants to see her son for a second?
Shenron sighed. All right. Can it be from afar, though?
As she called the flying Nimbus Kintoon, they went to observe the training. And, to Chi-Chi's relief and mild surprise, Gohan looked in good spirits. A little rough around the edges, he hadn't had a bath clearly, but he seemed content with his lot.
Piccolo's grown quite attached to him, you know. He will never admit it, never, but from time to time. We've been giving him survival training. He's always hiding apples for him, just in case he needs them and he can't do the training properly. The Piccolo of old wouldn't have done that, I will admit.
Survival training? Oh, my baby!
Listen, Goku was sent here as a baby himself. From what we have learned, their kind is rather independent. They can live off the fat of the land rather easily.
Will you 2 keep him safe?
Yes, Chi-Chi, we will.
Do you promise?
Yes, and I will make Piccolo's promise for him. He will speak the same as I.
You know, it's rather funny. Chi-Chi looked at Piccolo from afar. It's almost like his facial features have smoothened out a little bit. He doesn't look that scary anymore.
Yeah, I think so too.
Before Chi-Chi departed, she gave Shenron one long look, the last one for a while. One more question.
Yes?
Why haven't you visited me personally after Piccolo took Gohan? Why did you send Krillin to do your work? Why couldn't you face me directly? I thought we were friends, Shenron. I'm really confused right now. The dragon closed his eyes. Yep, he dropped the ball on that one.
I honestly can't tell you, Chi-Chi. As I have said many times, this is all new to me. I don't know.
Well, it's one thing you better learn fast.
What would that be?
Responsibility, she said, giving Gohan one more look before departing on Nimbus, leaving him alone. Shenron headed over to Piccolo and was quite quiet, watching Gohan train with some rocks.
Why did you bring her here? It's her son. She deserves to know it. How did you... You keep forgetting, Dragon. My hearing? Yes, that's right.
slowly but surely, the fateful day was approaching. Once Goku was ready in the other world, Shenron brought out the Dragon Balls to Kame House, a safe place where his true form was summoned. A lot more agreeably than the last time. You know what? It's funny. He now detests the feeling of transforming into his dragon-like state. This was how he used to look like, but the silver lining out of all of this was the feeling of Goku's essence returning to his original body. That made it worthwhile. It made him happy. Although, when he was transformed and some of the knowledge was made available to him, the cosmic knowledge that was locked to him in his human state, he understood that their Saiyan friend would need to run back on Snake Way all over again. Hopefully, he will make it back to Earth in time. As the Saiyans arrived on Earth, they went to ravage the first city that they had landed in, immediately causing chaos. Next, they headed straight for the strongest power levels they could sense on the planet, that being Piccolo and Gohan, with Shenron close behind. The rest of the Z fighters, they were also there, but their powers quite a bit lower.
Well, it seems that they have an Namekian amongst them. Aren't they lucky, Nappa?
Vegeta smirked.
Yeah, I heard that their warriors are not total pushovers, though. No wonder. I mean, they can kill rabbits.
This revelation, casual for the Saiyans, shocked both Piccolo and Kami, who then informed Shenron that his ability to create Dragon Balls could have been some sort of innate, instinctive memory. Namekian. That name was ringing in Shenron's mind like crazy. It felt so familiar, but once again, in this state, he could not access more information, but still, he was close to understanding it fully. They didn't have much time to waste, though, to process this information, as the Saiyans sent out a couple of Cybermen after them. Tenshinhan was able to deal with one of them quite easily, whilst Yamcha, he defeats one, only for another one to... Oh no, it's going to explode! But Shenron uses his magic to push the creature away in the nick of time, away from the bandit, thus saving his life. So yeah, we're not getting that meat, folks.
Oh man, thank you, Mr. Lang. Don't mention it, Yamcha. Just try not to get cocky next time. Be on guard.
Krillin was able to take on two Cybermen quite easily with his little limit break, whilst Piccolo dealt with one that was trying to ambush Gohan. Nappa decided that enough was enough. He didn't want to see these Earthlings have the upper hand anymore over their troop, and he entered the fray himself. His first target? Well, Tenshinhan, who loses an arm, causing Krillin and Chaozu to attempt to rescue him. Sadly, this ends up with an all too well-known misjudged sacrifice of the little guy, which only damages Nappa's armor. Shenron is able to get Tenshinhan out of the way, and he then mentions Goku to the Saiyans, which tickles Vegeta's fancy. He asks Nappa to wait 3 hours before Kakarot appears, as he wants to punish the Saiyan personally for betraying his own race, and most importantly, getting rid of that dog's body. The bigger of the Saiyans reluctantly complies, but he isn't too happy about this order. He quite enjoyed killing people, and especially strong ones. The remaining fighters try to formulate a plan amongst themselves how to defeat Nappa. Sadly, before Goku arrives, the time given to them runs out. They are forced to fight, with the one-armed Tenshinhan being removed from the equation entirely, much to his dismay. Nappa, right now, he's toying with the group. He essentially knocks out Shenron cold and mercilessly pounds on Krillin. Whilst being half awake, he witnesses Nappa attempting to kill Gohan, Shenron, with Piccolo getting in the way.
Piccolo! No!
No, this can't be happening, he thought. If Piccolo dies, that means that Kami dies and he... The Namekian falls to the ground, and before taking his last breath, he admits to the boy that he enjoyed his time with him and Shenron and calls them his friends. Shenron is now terrified, not only because he has lost both his creator and new friend, but also because he is genuinely unsure of what will happen next, what will happen to him. As he then touches his head, that's a lot of dust up there. He he hadn't been that dusty before. But then he felt the strength leaving him, and then he collapsed, losing consciousness, and he was sure that the cold embrace of death would soon take him. Shen Lang woke up many hours later in a hospital bed. It turns out they had all survived. Well, most of them, except Chaozu and Piccolo. Some of the Z-Fighters had second thoughts, though, of Goku allowing that Prince of all Saiyans to escape. But having in mind what became of Piccolo, maybe the Saiyans saw something in him that others didn't. It was hard to say. Yamcha approached Lang slowly.
Mr. Lang, thanks again for saving my life back there. Think nothing of it, Yamcha. But I feel very strange. Well, I mean, that makes sense because, well, your horns and all. My horns?
Shenron touched his head again. There was no dust there, but they were gone. He tried to call upon his powers in the hospital bed, but nothing happened. A panic washed over his body. Yes, he was still alive, but he was now just a regular human. Shenron was no longer Shenron, just Shen Lang. He sat up on the bed, bolt upright, as if he'd just experienced a sudden existential terror. Bulma, who was present, looked at him with a lot of concern. Don't worry, if we're correct, there is a way to save Piccolo and Kami.
There is?
Yes, we've learned about Namek, Kami's home world. They must have another set of Dragon Balls there, surely. That made some sense. Again, that name, Namek, was familiar, but this time, he didn't have any memories of it. Just the name was right.
How would we go about getting to another planet, though? Space travel? Is that even possible?
Well, I tried to retrieve one of the Saiyan vessels, but it exploded on live TV. Oops. But Mr. Popo says that Kami's ship is still available. Shen Lang blinked twice.
Kami's ship?
Yeah. Apparently Kami escaped a cataclysm on Namek when he was very young, but he doesn't remember it.
I need to speak with Mr. Popo.
You're injured. You really shouldn't get out of bed. But luckily, Yajirobe had arrived just in time to give the wounded the sensu beans that they desperately needed. Sadly, this didn't help Tenshinhan all that much, who was in a bit of a funk right now, and they really didn't think that sensu beans could regrow lost limbs. But of course, no wonder. Right now, reviving Chaozu seemed impossible. There were no Dragon Balls at hand right now. When Lang regained his strength, he decided to fly toward the lookout. Fortunately, this is one ability he hadn't lost.
Shenron, my friend, so glad to see you. I was worried, you see. What would happen to you if it's only Shen Lang now? I have lost all of my powers. But you are still alive! That matters more.
The genie patted him on the shoulder.
I am conflicted. The ship, Namekians. Do you think Kami knew all along and kept it a secret from us?
Mr. Popo pondered this for a while.
He knew he was not of this world, but some of his memories were sealed from him. Maybe during the fission process? Maybe he tried to remove anything that could distract him from his godly duties.
Lang closed his eyes.
I see. I know that your last interactions weren't particularly amiable, but he cared for you deeply, you know. And he carried burdens of his own. Then why wasn't he more open about that?
Mr. Popo had a very subdued smile.
Maybe he simply wanted you to figure it out on your own. I failed at that miserably. No, there's room for redemption. But tell me, Genie, do you possibly believe that there are Namekians left in this galaxy? There allegedly was a cataclysm. Well, King Kai believes that. I don't. So we are going to Namek and we'll bring them back? That's the plan. You really shouldn't blame yourself for this, Shen Lang. I don't know anything anymore. Just try to be your own person. There is so much more to life than duty.
And, as such, it was decided that Gohan, Krillin, Lang, and Bulma would travel to Namek. Chi-Chi wasn't all that thrilled about this, but she trusted Lang to keep Gohan safe. Before bidding farewell to him, she gave him his camera. You appeared to like that when you were at our house. Why don't you try and catalog the trip? Document everything for me, just so I know what my son gets up to.
I will.
After all, I was told that Namekians were a rather peaceful race, so this might be an educational trip for him. And do make sure he keeps up with his studies. She nodded slowly. I shall. And before she left, she said one more thing. I'm sorry about Kami and Piccolo, Lang. I know that they were sort of your family.
You, Goku, and Gohan are also my family. I will keep everyone safe.
And that's where we're going to be leaving things for right now.